Good morning, y'all. That pose was for the thumbnail. I'm trying to get better at doing these little video clips. But anyway, hey, y'all. Welcome back to another video with the Hidden Woman Within. The drill is to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you'll know when I upload a video. If this is your first time here, welcome in. If you're returning, welcome back. The other thing I want to mention is share the video. If you find the content relevant, share the video. That's how the word's going to get out. That's how the message of who needs to hear this is going to hear it, is if we share the video and I continue to do what I'm supposed to be doing. So without any further ado, let's get into it. But before we do, let me say it is Tuesday, November 29th, and I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving with you and your families. I know some people, I saw a couple of videos on TikTok. Some people didn't have a good Thanksgiving, but I hope that you and your family did. My Thanksgiving was very quiet. I was home. I was invited out for dinner and chose to stay home. I like my quiet down times. And so I had a good meal. I went to Abba's place and got myself some soul food, and boy, was it good. So, yes, I had a good Thanksgiving as well. So, today's video, I'm going back to discuss something that I think is very relevant, especially nowadays. And I mentioned in one of the videos, I talked about people not being our problem. And then after I did the video, I had to rethink, and I was like, I don't know, maybe they are. I don't know. And then I had to rethink, and I'm like, no, they're not. People are not our enemies. We have an opportunity on a daily basis to walk in love toward people, whether they're our Christian sisters and brothers or not. We have an opportunity daily to walk in love, and so the choice is ours. What we choose to do. I can tell you that one time in my life, I was really, really bad driving and cutting me off, and I didn't cuss at anybody. I didn't give anybody, I didn't pick a finger. I would just be fussing. You stupid, you cut me off, you're not paying attention to what you're doing, and yada, yada, yada. And so I had to learn, because what I realized, number one, was they couldn't hear me fussing at them. And so they're gone. And here I am getting myself all worked up over a situation that's over and done with. And so I had a decision to make. And I'm like, okay, so are you going to get yourself all out of sorts because somebody cut you off and let that ruin your day and cause you to act some kind of way? And so I had to make a decision. So I'm not going to tell you that it happened overnight, because it didn't. And every once in a while, it still pops up. Just every once in a while, not to the point where I can see that I have improved. And so, what I learned to do when people would cut me off or do something crazy, I would just take my foot off the gas. I would just, if they cut me off, and I would just take my foot off the gas and just be calm. I didn't have anything to say. And as I began to practice that, I found that I didn't have to let myself get all stressed out when I was driving out there on the roads with other people. You don't know what people are doing. This texting and driving and eating and driving, it's dangerous. And so now when I'm driving, I'm paying very close attention to other people. I'm not a perfect driver. I've been driving for 40 something years, and I'm not a perfect driver. And I've had one or two, I think maybe three accidents in all that time. One was just me by myself. Another one that actually I kind of caused it, but I saw the real thing behind that. And I think it was just those two. But anyway, it wasn't that I ever jumped out of my vehicle, start fussing and cussing at people like I see people do a lot. That road rage was really, really bad one time. People were actually losing their lives over a road rage, people shooting and stabbing people. Absolutely crazy. So, like I said, I've learned how to back up a little bit, but probably in the last, I'm gonna say 6 months, I had two incidents that, you know, I came out. I'm driving on the freeway, and it's raining. And then all of a sudden, this vehicle just comes into the freeway, and I'm right where I'm supposed to be doing the speed limit. And literally, this truck cuts me off to the point I had to hit my brakes. And of course, everything on the seat hit to the floor. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I'm just driving and shaking my head, but I let myself, and what the reason I reacted that way was out of fear, because this person could have caused an accident. And so my reaction came from fear. I had another situation where I was I'd sold my home, and but I was leaving the house one day, and I was going up to the street, and the way that where the house set, the you go down the street and the road kind of went up a little bit. So I'm pulling up, and there's a stop sign there, and this car is coming toward me, and I'm still coming to the stop sign. I'm going to stop because I see the car and I see the stop sign. And all of a sudden, that driver laid on that horn. Oh my gosh! And flipping me, I saw the hand go up, so I'm quite sure I got the bird. What we call it, flipping the bird, and just fussing and carrying on. And I'm saying, "Dad, God, what's the matter?" And I heard in my spirit, as clear as day, fear, fear. And I thought about that, and I was like, and then the Holy Spirit just ministered it to me that that person was reacting out of fear. And the fear was, from his or her perspective, it didn't look like I was going to stop. And so fear set in, and that's why they lashed out at me. And so I began to learn how to deal with that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I mean, we don't have control over everybody's driving, but you can only, just be mindful of your driving, but be careful out there driving with them folks for sure. So when I had talked about people not being our problem, people really are not our problem. I'm not saying that people don't have choices in the way that they respond to things. We do have choices. We do. But you have to look what's really behind. When somebody's trying to, like I'm trying to cough, when somebody's trying to purposely come against you, you got to know that you need to take the face off the person, and you're just going to have to walk in love. And the perfect example of that is, how do you think Jesus was able to say while he was on the cross, everything that had been done to him and what was being done to him, how do you think he could say, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do? Because he could see into the spirit realm, because what we see with our natural eye isn't really what's real. The unseen realm is really what's real. And I know if you're not a Christian, you may not understand all of that, but I'm still going to share this. And so he could see what the people couldn't see, and he responded in love. That's the greatest weapon right there, is walking in love. So the other day I was watching a video, I think it was on Facebook or something, where this street minister, he had a microphone and he was ministering to this guy. And this guy was cussing, and the guy put his hand, he said, "Get your hand off of me." And he didn't want to, he was just going off. And this brother would not give up. And he explained to him about the truth of God's word, and that demons were harassing him at that time. That's why he was reacting the way that he was reacting. This guy didn't give up. Do you know, when he was done, that guy calmed down and he was able to hug him. And from what I could tell, it looked like that young man gave his life to the Lord. Amazing. So the guy, he could have just looked at the man like, well, shoot, I ain't got time for all that. If you want to die and go to hell, go. But he didn't do that. He let love overcome all of that. And he continued to minister to that young man, and snatched him from the gates of hell. Hallelujah to that. So again, people, they're not our problem. And I know that it sometimes seems hard to believe that, but especially if we're walking in the flesh. My purpose, my goal is when I'm out amongst people to be not necessarily as friendly to people as I can. I'm just me. I'll talk to anybody. It doesn't matter. Like yesterday, I had got done with some business and I had to go to Home Depot to pick up a piece of sheetrock. So I go into Home Depot and I go down the aisle where the sheetrock is, and this young guy is walking around. He stepped away. I said, "Oh, I wasn't gonna run you over," and he just laughed and he went on. Well, he comes back a few minutes later, and I'm trying to put this piece of drywall on the cart that had wheels on it. And so I saw him coming. I was like, "Would you mind helping me do this?" And he jumped over. I said, "See, me not running you over with that cart paid off, didn't it?" And we both laughed. And so he helped me put the sheetrock on. It wouldn't fit in my vehicle, so then I was already prepared with my tape measure and my carpet cut. I was going to cut it and make it fit. So as I started doing that, another gentleman come down the aisle. "You need some help?" "Yep." "Yes, I do." And he helped me cut it, and then he loaded it back on. And then I went out to the front and I paid for it. And I saw this man in the checkout. He had all this stuff. And so he left out before I did. And so by the time I got outside, he was loading his materials into his truck. And I just started to say, "Hey, now if you waited, I'd help you load that up." But I didn't say anything. So I'm opening up my vehicle and I'm laying my seats down. And he had taken his cart back to that little cart station that they have outside. And he's walking back toward me and he's like, "You need some help?" And I said, "Yes." We both started laughing. I said, "I didn't waste no time." I said, I've learned how to let a man be a man. And if you want to help me, yes, thank you, Lord. So he loaded it all up for me and I thanked him so much. But it doesn't hurt to be kind to people. Sometimes I may talk to too many people sometimes. I don't know. But I always, I won't say always, but probably 98% of the time, if you were within a few feet of me, I'm going to speak to you. I was in Hobby Lobby a couple months ago, and when I walk past people, I would say good morning. And some people, good morning, very friendly. Other people look at me like, "I don't know you," and wouldn't say anything. And then one time in my life when I used to do that, I'm like, "Forget you then. You ain't got to say good morning to me." I don't do that anymore. I'm just like, "Okay, well, you ain't got to speak to me. I spoke to you. I'm I'm just me." So I go down this aisle while I'm getting some charms for my tumblers. And this woman was down the aisle. And I said, "Good morning." And she hesitated. She said, "Good morning." And so she's stooping down looking at stuff, and I'm standing looking up, but I could see her out of my side eye. She looking me up and down, looked at her. I said, "Not used to anybody saying good morning to you that you don't know, huh?" And she said, "No." And I said, "Well, this is just who I am." I said, "I don't have to know you to say good morning. You're another human being, and there's nothing wrong with speaking to a person." She said, "That's true." And that was the end of that. But I would say most people do respond in a friendly way. And so, but yeah, like I was saying, there was one time that, the other thing is like when you're driving and people are trying to come out of an area and there's a lot of traffic. I have stopped and let people out, and people behind me blowing the horn like, "What are you doing?" I can't hear them say, "What are you doing?" But they don't like it that I stopped. I mean, if I'm in a full flow of traffic and I can't stop, I won't. But if the traffic is moving slow enough and I can slow down, I'll let people out. And then at one time when I would let them out, they didn't say thank you. I'm like, "Forget you. I ain't gonna let you out again." And I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna let them out again because I don't know them people. I'll probably never see them in life again. And if I did, I wouldn't recognize them. But I don't let that stop me from continuing to do that, to continuing to give, a person a way to get out or something like that. It's just being courteous and being kind to people. And it comes back to you. Because I know, like I said, I was in the store and that first young man helped me load my piece of sheetrock. Well, then another guy, he came back and he cut it for me. He didn't have to do that. So, and then the same guy that helped me load my piece of drywall, he was getting two pieces. I said, "You need some help with that?" And he was like, "No." And I'm like, "Let me help you anyway." So I was holding the cart. He was like, "Thank you so much." Because people aren't, for the most part, used to you helping them. They're used to you being nasty and mean and rude. And because people have their issues. And I'm not saying it's okay to be nasty and rude toward people, but what I'm saying, just kind of have to recognize where they are. Don't let let their action cause you to have a negative reaction. I'll tell you this quick story. Years ago in New Jersey, I was working at this store called Rex Jeans, and I was a cashier, and I was talking to one of the customers, and another talking to a customer that I was waiting on. I was ringing up her stuff. Then there was a lady at the in line after her, and she was just putting her stuff on the counter. She was throwing that stuff up on that counter, and the customer looked down at her, and so did I. And immediately, I tried to get an attitude like, she can come up here with all that nonsense. And so I was responding. I didn't know what was going on. She was upset about something. She was just throwing stuff up on the counter. So by the time she did get to me to check her out, all I said was, "Good morning. How are you today?" And she told me. I can't to this day tell you what she told me, but whatever was bothering her came out. It wasn't anything she could contain any longer. And she just needed to get it out, and basically had somebody care enough to even ask, a total stranger. And so when I got done checking her out, she had a whole different attitude. And you know what? I'm grateful that I was glad to be a part of that, to help change her attitude, because let's just say that I had fed into her attitude and I had responded to her in the way that she was acting. That wouldn't have been good. And it wouldn't have been a good Christian witness as far as I'm concerned either. And I think even with that, we ruin our witness when we act that way. People are not reading the Bible. People that are not saved are not reading the Bible. Maybe some of the ones that are. Nope, don't say that, Charlotte. Okay. They're reading us. They're looking at you. Um, People have to notice that there's something different about you in the way that you act toward them. You know, we want to ride around with these bumper stickers. I don't have no stickers on my car. None. I need to put my business stuff on there, but I don't have any Jesus. I don't have any of that on there. I let my life, the way that I live and walk and do things for people, and just the way I conduct myself, speak for itself. Um, and that's the way it should always be. We should never be mean or nasty or negative to people. I know people that, somebody say something, they got to have the last word. There's a scripture in the Bible that talks about that, having a quick retort. And I never was good at that. I was later on, I should have said this and I should have did this and I did that. And I would tell myself, well, it's too late for all that now. So shut up. That's how I talk to Charlotte. I would tell me in a minute, if I'm doing something, if I'm going someplace up, I'm like, mind your business, shut up, mind your own business. And I remember just recently sharing something with somebody, and I had said, imagine, and I was just kind of giving this out. I said, imagine if I minded my business and you minded your business, and we together minded God's business, what we could accomplish. Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something if we just got out of everybody else's business and just took care of God's business? I mean, I think we could turn this world upside down. But we know that's not going to happen. But we all can do our part. We all can do our part. So I didn't intend to be here long today. I just wanted to, that kind of stayed with me about people. And I would tell you that I got delivered from people. What I mean, but I know sometimes I may sound like I'm being a little harsh, but the truth of the matter is, I am delivered from the opinions of other people. I don't let what somebody thinks about me determine my day. At one time, I did. I got another quick story, and I don't know if I shared this. I was doing some work for a woman in a house, and I think I did share the story. I'll just give a little snippet of it. And I was married at the time, so my husband and I were there. We were painting. I'd be there all day, and he'd come after work, and we wouldn't get off. He'd worked all day long. He'd come off, and I'd order us some food. We stayed there. The house was brand new, so the people hadn't occupied. They hadn't moved in yet. They had purchased it. And anyway, after I painted, she also knew that I sew and do upholstery. And, I love working with my hands. And so she asked me to make these winter treatments for her. And she showed me the window treatment, and I went and got a book on instructions on how to read it. And when I tell you that there was probably about 4 pages of instructions to say this: take this piece of fabric, say we're going to do black and white, take this piece of black fabric, sew it to this piece of white fabric, get another piece of black fabric and sew it to that piece, and so on until I probably had whatever the dimensions were for that window treatment. And then when you get them all done, you just, pull them together, iron them down, and then take the ends and flip them up where if the black pieces were together, you saw the white, and vice versa. And then you put buttons on them. My thought was, just heard something outside. My thought was, wow, 4 pages, almost 4 pages of instruction to sew this piece to that piece, fold it in half, flip it up, put buttons on it. It literally made me sick to my stomach, gave me a headache and everything. But what was really bad was I was so concerned about the client, about what she was going to think about how they were done, because I didn't like them. And I guess that's why I'm my own worst critic when it comes down to that kind of stuff. So, my husband and I, we left, and I was just in such a bad mood because I made them and then I took them and I installed them. And I was in such a bad mood because I was so afraid that she wasn't going to like them, to the point that it literally gave me such a headache. I was nauseous to my stomach, and I went home and I went to bed. And she got off work. I don't know what time she got home, but about a little after 5, the phone rang, and landline. The phone rang, and she said, "Charlotte?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "The window treatments, I love them." When I tell you, it was like somebody stuck a pin in a balloon and let all the air out of it. It took the pressure off. I was so concerned that she wasn't going to like them, and it just tore me up. Now, it's important that you care if you have some type of a business or something and you're doing work for people. It's important that they like what you've done. Absolutely. So, but that's the way that I was back then, where the thoughts and opinions of other people could almost make me sick, to the point my husband would say, "Why do you do that?" And I was like, "What?" I would do things to please people. Um, excuse me, we had another job where we were doing this house, pulling up the carpet, excuse me, and supposed to put down some more flooring. And then this woman added on after I had given her a price. And, I didn't say anything. And this was an additional $90 to do this other job. And so I'd go home and I'm complaining. And he says, "Why do you do that?" And I says, "What?" He said, "You let people just kind of walk over top of you. And then you come home and you take it out. You get yourself all upset. Why do you do that?" And I don't know. I probably fussed at him for even saying that. But over the years, I learned, and I think it's because the older I've gotten, the better I've gotten at that I can't let the thoughts and opinions and the way people treat me be such a problem to me that it makes me sick. I can't do that. I won't do that anymore. And because at this point in my life, if it costs me my peace, it's too expensive. And I'm not doing it. It's so easy for me because I know when I talked about how I lost my voice, I know that it was the enemy trying to steal my voice. There are situations now that I just don't even have anything to say about it. And it's not because I lost my voice. I'm like, I'm not dealing with that. I'm just not. It's not worth my time. I'm not going to let myself get all bent out of shape over it. Just not. I'm like, I just don't have anything to say about it. I'm like, I'm not doing it. And I think it comes with age as well. That you got to learn how to guard. You got to protect your heart. You have to guard your own heart. Um, the other day after church, someone came up to me and said to me, "I was watching you during praise and worship," and I know this person wasn't watching me. I just think they got a glimpse. And the person said, "When I saw you, this is what came into my spirit. It's for you to take care of yourself. Take care of you. Take care of yourself." And he says, "And it's not just for you, but also for your family. Take care of you. And that kind of set really good with me. And I was like, well, I thought I was doing that. But there's some other areas that I could be doing better at where it comes to down taking care of me. And the one thing that I make sure that I do is I guard my peace. I'm not going to let anything or anybody get me to the point where I'm sick because I'm concerned about what you think about me. I'm just not doing. Everybody's not going to like you. We're supposed to love each other, but everybody's not going to like you, and I understand that, and I'm good with that. You don't have to like me. If you're a Christian, you are supposed to love me though. But that's what I wanted to share today. That we have to begin to look at people differently. They're not our enemy. Actually, they're our purpose. At the end of the day, people are not our problem. They're our purpose. I hope you got something out of today's video and share that. I don't know who needs to hear that, but obviously somebody does. What I'm going to be talking about on the next video is a topic that I taught on some years back. And after I got done with the teaching, I can't tell you how many people came up to me and asked me for my notes. And so I'm going to, and that may be I don't know, part one, part two, but it kind of is almost in the same vein of dealing with people, but it's more so dealing with yourself. So with that, my time is almost up. I'm actually pretty good, and I stayed on topic today. Um, so thank you for tuning in. Again, share this video, give it a thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you don't, but subscribe and hit that notification bell. And I'll see you during the next video. By the way, if you saw me, in the beginning of the video and I was doing like that, I was trying, I think I had mentioned I was trying to get thumbnail because some of those pictures on them thumbnails, I'd be like, they're looking a little bit crazy. So I'm learning how to do all this technology stuff, and I'm determined not to call my grandkids that help me get it done. I can learn how to do these things for myself, and because I'm not perfect, it's called trial and error. So God bless you. You are blessed to be a blessing, and one person's story is another person's survival guide. God bless you.